What's up, everybody? How are we doing today? Welcome back to the channel. I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, one day late. Of course, it's Black Friday. I had a lot of stuff going on this week. We, of course, went out of town. We took the side-by-sides out. Ended up actually totaling it. I will show you some videos. It's pretty epic, but I'll show you the videos after my insurance claim is complete. So that'll tell you a fun part of the story, but everything's been good. The DeFi world has been a little crazy, as always. I feel like every time I come back and make a video, there's always something to report. There's been a few things that have changed, so I'll just talk through each protocol and what's changed about each protocol. But I think what we'll do is we'll start off with this one. So first and foremost, obviously, happy Thanksgiving yesterday to everyone who celebrates it. I know that's kind of a US thing, but around the world, I think it's really important to give thanks for the stuff that you do have. We live in a wild time to be alive, and there's a lot of kind of crazy stuff happening around the world. So be thankful for what you have, be thankful for your family, and hopefully here in the near future, we can all be really thankful for the big gains we're making in DeFi. But let's start out with Xfuzion. So Xfuzion is Matt's project. I've reported on it before. They had the pre-sale token that came out a little while ago. So I bought into the pre-sale, and now they're starting to release the other aspects, all the stuff that's on his roadmap. So right now, of course, you've got the home screen. You used to have pre-sale on here. Pre-sale is over. You either have the tokens or you don't, but now you can buy them on the open market. So this is all revolving around Pulse chain. You can go to swap and you can swap cryptocurrencies on here. Everything is basically on Pulse. So you've got the option of DAI, XFN, of course, which is his token, Pulse, Hex, all the other things. As you can see, the token kind of launched, dipped down as a lot of people sold out of the pre-sale, and now it's working its way back up. And the reason, in my opinion, is the X yield. This is basically his staking platform, their staking platform. Obviously, I want to give credit to the whole team. But as you can see, there's a lot of liquidity pairs that you can create on here, and the APRs are pretty juicy. The one I'm in right now that I got a 2x multiple on is this one. I put XFN and wrapped Pulse in there, and I did that last night. So far, I've earned $6.76. It's just under 500 bucks is what I put in there. I have some more that I want to put in there. I might put it in this one because the APRs are so juicy. 1304. There's also a 1277 here, and then a lot of these other ones down here, as you can see, are a little bit lower as people are starting to pour into it. Or you got a stable coin matched up with Pulse. Obviously, those APRs aren't going to be quite as high as some of the other stuff that has potentially more risk, but then also potentially more reward, potentially more upside, and that's why you're seeing the additional APRs here. So I'm a degen, and I'm keeping things fairly risky because I'm looking to get the most gains out of it. So what I'm looking at right now is my next purchase is going to be to drop money in here. So you just need to figure out which currencies you want. If you need the XFN token, you can purchase it here, obviously, like I said, on swap. And if you need one of these other tokens, you can swap for it as well. So really, you just need Pulse, something on the Pulse chain. You can come over to swap, and you can say, hey, I've got a bunch of Pulse. I'm going to swap it over for XFN. I want to swap all of it, or what have you. Once you've done that, you'll have that token. You'll want to pick the token that you're trying to create the liquidity pair with. So for me, maybe this stable coin. Once I've got that XFN, I'll swap it over. I'll get some DAI. I'll come back to liquidity, and then I will add liquidity. I'll pick the two tokens. It's just like PancakeSwap, right? If you guys have ever created a liquidity pair for anything, it's the same thing. You'll pick the two tokens you want to mash together. You'll approve both tokens. You'll enter amount, and then you will accept it. Now, you will probably have to have a high slippage tolerance because these are smaller tokens, like especially XFN. So just be aware of that. If your slippage tolerance is set at 1%, it probably won't go through. I had to up mine all the way to 15 to have it go through, but the slippage wasn't that bad. So then you just come over here to the platform, and you will want to enable. And once you do, it'll allow you to zap in and add that token. So I'm gonna let this build up a little bit because I want some more XFN. Then I'm gonna buy some. I'm gonna take the other money that I have set aside to put into this, and I'm gonna add it into this one. So these are live. I know that a couple things are happening here soon. These Xfuzion NFTs, I think, are coming out next, quickly followed by X Amplify, which is kind of like the ROI, daily ROI DApp. So some cool stuff coming out in the future. I do think that those, the addition of these will lock up some of the token supply, which could make the token price go up, which of course will help with all the other gains. So definitely jump over here. I'm pretty sure I've got a link still in the description down below. So feel free to jump over here, buy some Xfuzion tokens, and play this one out. So this one's kind of a slow burner so far, but I think it's going to be really good. As you know, it would be better for me if you guys didn't jump in here because the APRs are so juicy right now. They will go down as more people add, so the sooner you can get in, the better. You're going to get better rewards. So that's why I'm going to be getting into this one probably today or tomorrow, and I'll get that 1304%. This one was at about 1100 when I jumped in, and it looks like more people are piling into that one. But just be aware, when these farms come out, APRs are super juicy in the beginning, so that's really when you want to take advantage. After that, they're still really good. I mean, even some of these lower ones like PulseX and Wrapped Pulse, 242% APR is still monstrous. While we're on the Pulse chain, let's go over and talk about PulseStrip. Token price is hanging in there solid now. It's just hit 25, and it's been that way for the last few days, which is nice. I just started compounding. I claimed a few days there when the price was super high, because why not? And it was able to get me to like 55% ROI. Now what I'm doing is just compounding for a while and letting it build back up. Now I've heard, I haven't claimed to confirm it, but I've heard there is a change now. When you claim, it will drop your percentage from 1% down to 0.5%, and then every day you compound, it'll build it back up to 0.1%. So it'll take you 5 days to get back to 1%. So just be aware of that. Pick your claims at the best time possible, because obviously the goal for the most part is to get the most percentage you can per day. And so if you're claiming every day or you're not picking the right strategy, you could end up earning less than you want to. So right now I'm just back in compound mode. There will be a time when I decide, hey, I'm gonna let it build up for a couple days and I'm gonna claim and then get myself closer to ROI. I don't think I'm too far off from it. Like I said, I'm gonna probably compound for the next couple weeks, and then sometime next month I'll pick a couple claim days where I'll get some claims in, and then the possibility of compounding for a few more weeks and then claiming a couple more times, and then from that point I pretty much should be at ROI. So that'll be super nice, because obviously if we can get to ROI and then just play with house money, it's a lot of fun. So that's what I'm attempting to do here. Over on Swap, I'm just doing that same thing. I really have nothing new to report. It's still at 19 cents. It's been stuck there for a little while. I'm using the farms to create Spark. I'm putting Spark in the Sparkler to create the LPs that I put in the farms, and I'm just trading those back and forth. I really have no intention at this point of pulling any money quite yet. This is a longer term play for me. I've got about 1,500 bucks or something like that in here. So I am rolling the dice to see what happens. Jumping out of Pulse projects, Street Vendor Wars. If you didn't see on my last video, there's a Wallet Connect button up here. Let's refresh it. All right, I'm getting 4,558 per day. Let's go ahead and claim my food tokens. All right, there they are. I got 100,000 food tokens. I can convert those over into food bucks, or I can cash them out as BNB. I've done a little bit of cashing out lately for the last couple days, just so I can get a little bit back, a little percentage of my earnings that I put in so far. I plan on upgrading another truck soon. The next one would be this one, it looks like, which I would need to upgrade to level 3. And it's 10,900 food bucks, so I have a long way to go. Once I get that done, we'll see where I'm at, and then I'll start to claim again. So it's just a little bit of a strategy back and forth. If you look down here, you can see that the contract balance is over 90 BNB, so that's cool. Let's get it to 100. Hopefully you guys are having fun with the game so far. Once the holidays are over, at least this holiday weekend is over, we should be able to do some AMAs and stuff on it and get some people pumped about it. But anyway, kind of a cool project so far. Let's jump right over to Carol, because Carol is in an interesting ride. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get this to update. All right, we'll hit Carol BNB first, and then we'll go over and we'll talk about Carol on base chain. So as you can see, total liquidity is still 1.14 million, so it's just slightly down from where it was. That's not too bad. Obviously, those bonds are locked up for the first 30 days. That's, we didn't see a lot of traction until after those 30 days dropped off as far as price action. So the token price here is 0.024, which is right about where it launched at. If you go over to this one, you can actually see where the token price went. So token launched, we were about here, so it's really just a little bit above the token launch price. Once it came out, it rallied up, dipped down a little bit for some big claimers. Now we're sitting right in here. So if you got in on the first day, probably pretty healthy as far as where you're sitting. So it won't pop up here, but I saw a notice that you may need to go to your Carol site and refresh it, because you might get a pop-up that will talk about the kind of Black Friday deal that's going on. Basically, if you invest in this side or the other base chain side, you can get a credit for the other side. So if you invest, a BNB or two over on this side, you would get a credit over on the base chain side, like a bond that was preset for you, or vice versa. So it could be a good way to get some free money. I know they're just trying to build that back up, but it has been effective. I know when that drop off happened, and everyone obviously started selling their tokens and Carol after the bond period ended, the token price dropped and everyone said it was over, but it's actually coming back up. If you'll notice, the total liquidity is back up to 411,000, and it was down, I want to say, in the 380s. So a lot of new liquidity is actually pouring in, which I find pretty interesting, which is awesome. It bodes well for the possibility of like a resurgence on the base chain side. And then the Carol token price is actually coming back up. It dipped all the way down into the 0.004s. It's now working its way back up, and so that's healthy as well. And part of the reason, I think, is the mathematics of how Carol works. Your max staking percentage is this 150%, and so it's 150% of the tokens. So if you bought in at a higher token price, or the token price was higher originally, and those people claimed out until they got to 150%, at a lower token price, they've claimed out that 150%, but those tokens weren't worth as much money, so it means there's still a bunch of money sitting on the contract. What that means is if you buy in here at the bottom and the token price goes back up, you could be making a lot more than 150%, because you're getting 150% in the tokens, but if the token is worth twice as much, then your ROI is that much greater. And I think that, that information, I think, is starting to circulate to people. They're starting to understand the tokenomics of it and starting to realize that there's still $400,000 in the total liquidity, which a lot of projects don't even get to. And I think people are realizing that this has the ability to kind of ebb and flow up and down and still have a ton of money sitting on the contract for people to play with. So because of that, I find the tokenomics on this thing super interesting. Carol's a really interesting protocol. So personally, what I think I might do is actually just let this build up for the rest of the day, maybe claim tonight, and then put a portion of that back in and rebond at this lower amount and just see how that goes. Obviously, I'm still getting a pretty good percentage, and even though the token price is lower, that's not bad gains per day, especially for how much money I put in here. I put about 282,000 Carol tokens in here at a much higher price. So if I were to go in here now and buy even like $100 worth of Carol with ETH, and then bond it, and then bring it over here and stake it with another 100, so like another $200, it should increase my total tokens considerably, and it might end up being a good play. Of course, total liquidity, like I said, $410,000. That's not a small amount, so there's the potential here to see a resurgence. So I'm probably going to play with it. I'm going to wait till a little bit later tonight. I am going to claim, and I will buy a smaller bond, not as big as some of these other ones I did because I put a bunch of money in early on, but I will buy a smaller bond to kind of protect myself, but get a lot more tokens and stake them, and then we'll see how this one plays out. I think I'm right at ROI, so with this claim, I'll be over ROI. I will have made some money. I'll be playing with house money, so it's definitely something that I'm interested in checking out. And last but not least, let's jump over and talk about Stableswap. So Stableswap, I have just been chipping away and putting some dollars in here. Right now, as you can see down here, I'm up to 1133. I do have some referral dollars that are coming in, so I got to figure out a way to use them, probably add more to it, because I think I need at least a minimum of 50. So I'd have to add 35 to this one, or add 42 to this one to make 50 to be able to stake it. My intention is to get at least another $400 to $500 in here over the next week. I've got about 6 days before this, this period ends, these pre-launch specials. You definitely, if you can and you have the ability, the funds, you definitely would rather get 0.53 for 300 days than 0.35 for 300 days. So it just makes a huge difference. And when you're talking about staking stable coins, that's an insane percentage. So it should be just nice to sit here. If I could get a couple $1,000s in here, that would be super nice. As you can see, sorry, I keep having to move my face, but I've built up already $24 in rewards. You can claim once that gets to 50. So there's a bunch of different ways to play this. People have been asking me for the strategy. If you put a decent amount in within just a short period, maybe a week or something, you will have received around $50 in rewards. Now you could keep those rewards, or you could keep playing with it. Like, hopefully by the time when I stake more stuff in here, by the time the end of the pre-sale happens, I can have at least $50 or so in here. I could claim those and then redeposit those into a long-term deal here and get the 0.53%. So as you get your percentages, if you really believe in the platform, you could claim them and then reinvest them, kind of like a form of compounding. So you've got the ability to do that. I think that's a pretty interesting play if you really believe in the platform, because if you believe in the long term of it, that could start to snowball. As you start to get gains, you just redeposit them and redeposit them in a form of a compound, and then it drips you higher and higher gains every day. There's a lot of potential here, a lot of different strategies you could play on. I personally believe in the team, I believe in the protocol, so I'm going to do some pseudo compounding. I'll definitely be reinvesting some of that and then taking some of the rewards, but it will be, me trying to turn a couple $1,000s into a lot more than that. So anyway, that's the play on those today. I know there's more protocols out there that are doing well, but I don't want to make this video too long. So I think we'll end it here. Let me know in the comments down below which protocol is treating you the best. Right now, I'm making pretty good money from Carol. My Xfuzion stakes are looking pretty good. Of course, Stableswap. There's a lot of positive things going on out there in the crypto world, and it's nice for a change. So I know we're rolling into the holiday season. Want to wish everyone a happy holidays. We got about a month left before we hit Christmas. If you guys celebrate that, then we'll be rolling into the new year. So we got like 37, maybe 38 days until the new year. Hopefully you guys crush it and we start the new year strong. So thank you guys for watching and happy investing.